Welcome to the TCU Innovates podcast.
For over 150 years, Texas Christian University has been at the forefront of innovation, and we're just getting started.
I'm TCU Chancellor Victor Bashini.
And I'm TCU President Daniel Pullin.
We are your hosts of TCU Innovates.
We highlight the latest stories of innovation and thought leadership across our community.
Dream big, be bold,
and lead on, Horned Frogs. Hey everybody, it's TCU President Daniel Pullin, and I'm here on location in Paris, France for a special edition of the TCU Innovates podcast. Today we are featuring TCU women's head basketball coach Mark Campbell, who has come all the way across the pond to support a number of our student athletes and alumni from TCU who are participating in the Olympic Games. I'm just really excited to have you here. You know, we talk about innovation as an institutional advantage at TCU, and I think our competitiveness, not only back home in Fort Worth, but globally, even at the highest levels here at the Olympics, is a testament to our ability to think differently, to challenge the status quo, to do what it takes to be competitive, to provide great opportunities for our student athletes, both from an educational perspective, from an athletic competition perspective, but also a way to elevate the brand of Texas Christian University and everything that we do. So it just means the world to me that you would come over here and represent our university, show support to our student athletes, and continue to broaden the impact of TCU all over the world. So thank you for joining us here.
Oh, today. Absolutely. It's great to see you.
Well, it's good. It's good to be able to spend some time. I know we get to hang a little bit in Fort Worth, but to do it half a world away is a great memory that I won't soon forget. So it's just a little context here. We have a record number of Horned Frogs that are representing TCU in the 2024 Olympic Games. We have 9 Horned Frogs that have qualified for the Paris Olympics here. We've sent more students and alumni to compete on the world stage than ever before. And together, our student athletes are representing 7 different countries in 5 different sports, including women's basketball. Our student athletes are competing not only in basketball, but in tennis and rifle, beach volleyball, and swimming. So I think it's an opportunity of a lifetime for our student athletes, certainly our coaches, and myself. So we're very excited. We're representing, obviously, U.S., but also Spain, Nigeria, Great Britain, Denmark, the Bahamas, and Antigua.
Wow.
Yeah, so it also speaks to the global footprint and impact that we're having at Texas Christian University. In basketball, leading the Olympic pack, we've got 3 Horned Frogs, that you know well. Haley Van Lith, who's a Master's of Liberal Arts student. She's representing Team USA in the women's basketball 3-on-3 competition. Yep. And as we're conducting this podcast, we're actually standing outside of the Plaza de Concord, which is hosting a number of these events. So 3-on-3 basketball, where Haley will be participating later today, BMX, break dancing, and skateboarding, amongst others. So apologize for all the listeners out there. You're going to hear a little ambient noise, maybe some fans cheering, PA announcement, other things, but we're live on site where it's happening. In addition to Haley, we've got Amy Okonkwo and Tomi Taiwo, who both earned spots on Nigeria's 5-on-5 team. And Okonkwo is a professional player in France, is actually a 2-time Olympian who first appeared in the 2020 Games in Tokyo. Taiwo plays professionally in Portugal and is making her first appearance. So maybe just to start, tell us a little bit about these 3 women, their backgrounds, and what is it about them that allowed them to ascend to compete on the highest stage?
Yeah, absolutely. We can walk through each one of them, but Amy transferred here from USC and was a huge part of building the Horned Frog women's program, and she has evolved. She's kind of one of those players that developed later in her pro career and has become in modern day basketball kind of a matchup nightmare. She's undersized, but she can really shoot it, and she's just an incredible young lady. I think the common thread that all 3 of them have is their work ethic, what sets them apart. And Tomi came to TCU as a grad transfer from Iowa and spent her last year here. And then Haley Van Lith is also a grad transfer who's working on her second master's degree. She's finishing up her first one at LSU right now this summer while she's competing in the Olympic Games. And then she'll knock out her master's over this next year. And Haley is the only college basketball player, male or female, that's representing Team USA in these Olympics, which is just an awesome honor.
Absolutely. Well, she's got to be excited, and so many of us are excited for her. So what do you think about, if you think about having three representatives, that have TCU ties here at the Olympics? What does that portend for the future of TCU women's basketball from a brand perspective or recruiting perspective? How might we best, leverage this moment for the future?
Yeah, I think we're just scratching the surface of the potential of TCU and specifically women's basketball. The Olympics is the greatest stage in sports, and it happens once every 4 years. And so it's just incredibly hard to make a roster in any sport. And to have three of them right now as we're building our program, and our program's ascending quickly. And so our staff is trying to identify future women's basketball players that are in the USA pipeline that have potential to play in future Olympics and recruit the best student athletes in the country. And really, I shouldn't limit it to the country, but really our staff's trying to recruit the best student athletes from around the world. And I've been blessed. I have 9 former players that are actually playing basketball in this Olympics. And so to identify the ones that have those traits, the work ethic, the maturity, the discipline, the mental toughness, all of those components have to come together along with some just God-given talent that you're blessed with to be able to make an Olympic roster.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, I mean, you've got nine specific faces to watch, but I'm sure there are others that you've built relationships with over the course of your career. How tight knit is the women's basketball community? Will you see a lot of friendly characters and strengthen relationships while you're here on site in France?
Yeah, absolutely. I would assume women's basketball, like any sport, is a tiny circle across the globe. And so I've already been able to have a couple meals with coaches on different Olympic teams, been able to go meet with some of the players and have some dinners. Because the truth is, your past student athletes are your most powerful individuals to help you recruit future student athletes. And so those relationships are lifelong. A lot of these kids I've known for about 10 years. 2 of them, I was at the U17 World Championship 10 years ago, almost to the day. They were competing for a gold medal. You fast forward 10 years and you get to be in the stands watching them in the Olympics. And that's what it's all about, is helping young people chase their dreams academically as well as athletically. And you can do that at TCU.
Absolutely, and I think that's part of the the combination or the totality of the factors that allow us to be increasingly competitive on the global, as you mentioned, recruiting trail. So you've had a chance to attend some events already. We were talking earlier about an experience you had yesterday evening. Talk to us about that game, the competition, the stakes, and your overall impressions of your initial Olympic run.
Yeah, so I got to watch 2 different 5-on-5 games last night. In the 5-on-5 basketball games are held in Lille, so it's about an hour outside of Paris. And so the first one, Nigeria, so I got to watch Amy and Tommy, and they were playing France, so the host country. So you're talking the whole arena's full, cheering on France. So Nigeria had a tough hill to climb, and they weren't able to get it done. But to watch those 2 young ladies be out there competing in that environment was incredible. And then the game after was kind of the nightcap, and it was Team USA versus Belgium. And in the women's basketball world, Belgium is kind of the second best team behind USA. And so Belgium's about a half hour from Lille, where the game was being held. And it was a sold out 27,000 people, all Belgians, cheering against Team USA. There was a tiny contingent behind the USA bench, and I'm talking maybe 30 people. And so it was really special to get to see that environment. My former player, Sabrina Ionescu, was the one that I was there supporting in the USA game. It's the coolest, the greatest women's basketball environment I've ever been a part of. And USA ended up being victorious. and got it done. So last night was really fun to see those two games.
Oh, that's great. Well, I can't imagine what it was like to be there. I've had a chance to participate in a number of sports. I was able to watch Team Spain that was comprised of two of our student athletes compete in beach volleyball, and the level of energy and seeing the world come together, and the intensity of the competition and the pride. It's really hard to say with words. It's hard to even appreciate while watching it on television. You almost have to be in the theater, so to speak, to get the full resonance of it.
100%. Me and you can't explain what those environments felt like, and I know you got to watch some history with, I think it was Simone last night at gymnastics.
The women's all around gymnastics, gold medal. It was, wow, what an amazing evening for not only her but the whole team and really the country. Just the patriotic vibe and feel and appreciation of the effort and the competitiveness of being an American and representing on the global stage was a moment that I will always cherish, as will my family.
Would you say that's one of the neater sporting events that you got to be a part of?
I think so, and not just here at the Olympics, but in my whole life. I mean, to really, that's such a high-profile event, and it's so competitive, and there's so much history and tradition, and to see what many could argue is the most accomplished and maybe statistically the most decorated gymnast in really Olympics history, and to see her at her very best was just a high honor.
I'm jealous.
Tough ticket for sure, but good fortune in many ways. So talk to us a little bit about 3-on-3 basketball. That's a relatively new event.
Yep.
Some people kind of intuitively know what that is, but describe the sport. Why has it risen to prominence? What are the strategies that the top competitors are going to employ to be successful?
Yeah, it's a new event. I believe last Olympics was the first time it debuted. And so 3-on-3 is a lot different than 5-on-5. It's a half-court setting. It's very fast-paced, so there's no stoppage in play. You take the ball right out of the net on a made basket, and so a make or a miss, all you got to do is clear the ball behind the three-point line, and then you're attacking again. And so conditioning-wise, you have to be in incredible shape, and then versatility is the key, because you got to be able to guard multiple positions, because it happens so fast. You kind of just guard the closest person to you. And then offensively, the court's so spaced because it's only 3-on-3 versus 5-on-5, and so you want to find talented one-on-one players that can create in space. And so Haley's greatest gift is her offensive talent and her ability to create for herself and attack in space. And so I think that's why her skill set is so unique and beyond her age that she was able to make the team as a college player.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, it's going to be exciting to watch. It's one of the toughest tickets in town as well. And I think the energy, enthusiasm, the pace has got a lot of people here in the town buzzing and sort of clamoring for tickets. So I'm excited to get to talk to you when we get back to Fort Worth as to your experience on that relatively new event. Let's talk a little bit about the Horned Frogs. You had a very successful debut season as our head coach. One of my favorite stats is that the TCU women's basketball, the year-over-year number of wins was the absolute number one highest improvement of any of the Power Conference teams. So we're on the right trajectory. I'm no expert, but a lot of people share their enthusiasm for our recent recruiting class and your ability to retain top talent, particularly in a challenging environment with the transfer portal and NIL and all of the uncertainty surrounding top-end intercollegiate athletics. So give us a sense for your impressions on your first year, and then what are you excited about as we turn the page to your sophomore campaign?
Yeah, it's been a very busy, 14 months since we took over. And like you mentioned, we took a program that won 8 games, and our program was able to get to 21 wins this year. And I think that's just the foundation. We laid an incredible foundation, got the culture reestablished. And then the deal, you talked about the portal, but in college athletics, the first key is you got to keep your good players. And that sounds simple. It's not in this landscape right now. And so we returned 5 of our top 6, which is rare. So we're going to be really old. And then I would say we crushed it in the portal. And I think that's a testament to TCU. We are trying to bring in the best student athletes in the world. And I mean that literally, because the combination of TCU's academic prowess along with the campus and then the community support, the facilities and resources. There's truly no reason that we can't go attract the best women's basketball players to come play at TCU. And so I think we did that in the portal. So Haley Van Lith is kind of the big name that we added, and most people are familiar with. But there's a group of 6 players that we added. Donovan Hunter came to us from Oregon State. She was a true freshman and started at point guard every game for Oregon State, who went to the Elite Eight and was a game away from the Final Four, and is a 6-foot talented point guard, one of the best point guards in college basketball. Maddie Shear came to us from Kentucky and was their leading scorer and best player. Was a McDonald's All-American that we originally coached at the University of Oregon, and so we're getting her on the back end, and she's getting her master's. Taylor Bigby is coming to us from USC, where she played on one of the top 10 teams in the country this past year, and a versatile, athletic guard that was a McDonald's All-American. And who else am I missing right now? Oh, 2 great post players with DeAsia and Natalie to come help Sedona Prince, and that might have been our biggest retention. Sedona Prince could have gone to the WNBA if she wanted to and chased her pro career, and I think it's a testament to the TCU package. She chose to come back and do one more year in Fort Worth and one more year with us in TCU. And so we're fortunate. I think she might be the best center in college basketball next year. So there's just this really, really impressive group of young women. We've tried to load the schedule up. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I took a peek, but tell us about it.
We got a showcase game at Dickies Arena December 8th against the defending national champions, South Carolina. I pulled this up. The last 3 years, they're 110-3 over the last 3 seasons. And so as we're trying to build a program that can become one of the premier programs in our country, you got to go out and test yourself against those kind of teams. And so there's another Final Four opponent that we have coming to the Schollmeyer that hasn't been released yet. So there's a little teaser. So we got 2 incredible games next season. That'll be a treat for our fans, but it's truly a measuring stick for our young women. And as you attract the elite ones, they want to play in those kind of games. And so we got a lot of momentum right now, and it's been a busy year, but I think we're going in the right direction.
That's great. Well, it has been a busy year. It's going to be a busy year. It's terribly exciting. I try to go to as many of the games as I possibly can, and I love the enthusiasm. But I know, as you're building the on-court success, the overall reputation of the program, you're not doing that alone. You need the support of our students, our alumni, faculty, staff, members of the community, and beyond. So as you think about those stakeholders, what more can those of us out here do to support your efforts and your ambitions for Horned Frog basketball?
Yeah, well, the first thing I think I need to say is thank you. What I've learned in this 1 year is how small but mighty that TCU fan base is, alumni base. The amount of support that they've shown our program over this last year, it's second to none. And without their support, you wouldn't be able to attract these incredible young women here. And so it takes a village, but TCU has responded and been amazing. Obviously, fan support. It's our job to put out a product that's worthy of them coming out, and I believe our staff's done that. And so now I'm excited to see Fort Worth come out and support this team and this program, playing some of the best teams in our country. And so we got an exciting year coming up. But honestly, the number one thing I take away from my first year in Fort Worth is how passionate our alumni base is.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that sentiment, and I've been at TCU a little over half a decade now, and I think that's been a consistent refrain that has really unlocked the door to success at every turn. Whether that's athletics in this context, academically, the broader impact we make on our community, how we propel our students to not just graduate from college, but to be well-rounded citizen leaders that society needs to benefit humanity at every turn. We're relying on those people that have come before, who care deeply about their affinity and affiliation with TCU. It really is a culture that's magical and I would dare contend unique nationally. So as you're building, obviously success on the court and the program and the reputation, more people are, asking about, who's the leader, who's the coach, what's he all about, where did he come from? Can you talk to us a little bit about your Horned Frog story, your personal journey? What are the values that you hold dear, and sort of your outlook on how you build your career in the context of life?
Yep. Well, I'm starting year 18 in college basketball, and obviously in college athletics, you kind of make a couple different pit stops as you're climbing and learning and growing and developing as a coach. And so spent majority of my career, I spent 11 years between Oregon State and University of Oregon. I really learned the industry and cut my teeth on the men's side. My mentor is Randy Bennett at St. Mary's College in the WCC. And so I'm forever indebted to him and him taking me under his wing. And so my background, I'm from a pretty small town. I grew up on a farm, a very blue-collar background. And when you grow up on the farm, you learn to put in an honest day's work every day. And you roll up your sleeves and you got to figure things out. Yep. You can't pick up the phone and call people. You got to figure it out. And so I'm very grateful for that. And that's impacted my coaching career in a very blue-collar way. And I think that carries over to how I coach our team and the kind of players we attract, of just very hard-working people and humble people and players that value academics, value basketball. But the core of it is we find the hard workers that are passionate and love the game. And so for me personally, basketball is kind of the vehicle that I get to share my faith. It's a platform I get to use to have a great impact on a bunch of young women. And my family does, and my wife, we've been married 22 years now.
Congratulations.
And, have 2 daughters. And so it's a village in college athletics. I mean, it's an all-consuming job 7 days a week. And so my wife is my biggest support, and she's in the trenches with me. And my 2 daughters are 15 and 13, and so they've grown up in the gym. So it's a family endeavor. It truly is. And my wife played at Vanderbilt and was a point guard back in the day. And so that's our little village as we're trying to build something very, very special at TCU, which we are. And the goal is to build the best program in college basketball.
Yep.
And we're going to chip away at that, but that's the long-term vision for our program. And TCU has a package. There's no reason we can't do that.
Yep.
So we're just super excited. Glad to have that first year under our belt.
Yes.
And lay the foundation, and now it's time to rock and roll.
Yeah, it is. We're definitely seeing that. We're excited to get back to campus and get back into the school year and see those amazing games, both in and beyond conference, sort of light up the scoreboard and continue the energy. Love what you said about family. That's a very great fit with Texas Christian University, the Horned Frog family, our emphasis on it, and how it can really fuel all of our aspirations, dreams, and progress. So we're just lucky to have you and your family at TCU. I'm lucky to be with you here in Paris for the Olympics to support our 9 student athletes. Thank you for making the investment of time. There's a lot of other things that you could be doing, but I know they appreciate it a great deal, as do I. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here on TCU Innovates. Any last thoughts or ideas that you want to share with our listenership before we wrap up?
Oh, no, what a treat to see you and your family here. This is the biggest sporting event in the world, once every 4 years, and so excited to have 9. But when 2028, when it's in LA, let's make sure we double that.
That's right. Let's break that record. Right. We got 4 years to work on that, and we'll do that together as we do all things at TCU. We go together.
I like it.
And that's a secret to our success. All right. Well, I'll let you get into that competition venue. Thanks, everybody, for checking in on yet another special summer edition of the TCU Innovates podcast, where we emphasize that at TCU, if you can dream it, you can do it. The TCU Innovates podcast is recorded at the KTCU studio in the Bob Schieffer College of Communications at Texas Christian University. Thank you to the KTCU team for supporting our show. Go Frogs!